Let's get rolling, team. I think we have good number of guests, and I'm really excited to get this started. Uh, Welcome back to another exciting episode of Coach by TripleDart. You know, for folks who have attended it already, this is a show where we basically deep dive into the day-to-day hacks that kind of helps make lives of marketing operators better. I'm Mahesh, and I head all things related to growth at TripleDart. Today we have two extraordinary guests in Rahul and Maruti. I'll kick off things by introducing both Rahul and Maruti. Rahul is a co-founder of School of SDR with about a decade of experience under his belt. He has been instrumental in setting up outbound teams across top SaaS organizations like WhatFix, ChargeBee, and more. And joining him is Maruti. He's global head of SDR at Rippling and has an impressive sales journey from Alma base to remote and now in Rippling. So I'm really excited about the topic that they're bringing onto the table. Personally, at TripleDart, we have been really vociferous in technology being the center of whatever we do in terms of bringing intelligence onto the table. But one thing that I've always been skeptical about is how the AI is taking the SDR jobs. That is one thing that I've constantly been debating, deliberating with folks I know, and I'm pretty sure Maruti and Rahul will have answers for that. But I start on that skeptic note. Let's see how the entire talk goes, and we'll take it from there. Once again, thanks Rahul and Maruti for agreeing to do this, and it's going to be immensely useful for whoever is going to be part of the session for sure.
Thank you, Mahesh, for having us here. We are super excited, and we hope that whatever we are going to show today, it's super beneficial to everybody, and people are able to not only take these learnings, but at the same time take action and see where we are and where we could go.
Yep. Thanks, Mahesh. We're very excited.
Awesome. So I see a lot of familiar faces. However, I would like to quickly take 2 minutes to talk a little bit about School of SDR, Maruti and I. So Maruti and I started School of SDR before it was School of SDR a few years ago, I think about 17, 18 months ago, when Maruti was training only a small batch of people. And Maruti and I got to talking, and I think after a year later, School of SDR was born. And since then, we have trained over 200 SDRs under our belt, whether it's through School of SDR and through my own personal network. And I was instrumental. I was actually part of Quintel when it was acquired. I was, the first SDR at WhatFix. So being an SDR was always closer to my heart. And that's the whole reason I never took up a AE role ever. And this is the first time I'm probably sharing it. I'm very excited about this. And from first SDR to WhatFix to becoming first manager at SDR manager at WhatFix, then moving into SDR manager at ChargeBee, and then moving into other Sigma portfolio companies. And recently, I was lucky enough to be demand-based top SDR leaders to follow in 2023. Some of our predictions were actually posted on one of the blog where we were the only Indian who was there alongside, Kyle Coleman and other bigger brand names. And let's probably take Maruti take center stage for a minute and talk more about him.
Yeah, well, thanks everyone. I'm Maruti. So I take care of sales and mid-market and enterprise, while I started as a founder doing my own SDR work and like a full cycle sales rep. There's a lot of skepticism and talk, as Mahesh has mentioned, will AI take the SDR jobs? And whatever AI is producing, is that high quality? Can we trust it? These are the two big skepticisms. And I'm based in New York, and I visit California almost once a quarter to kind of hang around with my Silicon Valley friends. And this is the whole conversation, right? And today we want to show you something which hopefully, if there are more skeptics like Mahesh and many other people, would turn it into a believers and optimists on how AI can help you and not take your job. So hopefully we would be able to turn you all into AI believers.
Hope so. Let's see. Mahesh, thank you for raising the question and skepticism. We appreciate that, and we will try our best to turn you into an AI believer.
Looking forward.
I think, yeah. So this is the blog I was talking about recently, and there has been a lot of commotion around this. If we use AI, we do get quantity, but there's a trade-off between quantity and quality. And this is in 2024, and this has been our prediction. Maruti and I have been discussing this multiple times because he keeps talking about, hey, how is Rippling, able to maintain this, and how are other companies where he keeps reading that, are able to do it. And that's what we also believe, that there should not be a trade-off between quality and quantity. In fact, if you're an SDR, you should be thinking about how can I use AI to become better, where I can make AI do the mundane task, thereby giving me a lot of time at hand, which I can use now to have those either make more dials or have more conversation or maybe learn something else. The idea is, can you leverage AI to simply trade off time instead of looking at quality versus quantity game. And we have been endorsing this for a while, where we have been talking about, if you have been performing at X, I think you have the potential of performing at 10X, which is why you'll be making 10X SDR simply by using AI. And hopefully by the end of this presentation, you will be able to see that how you can actually be there. And you will see that some of the SDRs we have been talking to, training, mentoring, some of them are already here. And some of the SDRs who are actually part of today, and some of the leaders, I'm pretty sure, would be very excited to see how we can talk about becoming successful without a quality and quantity trade-off. Now, we would like to emphasize on a few things while we're talking about AI. And I know that there has been a lot of skepticism. Mahesh already brought up, hey, is it going to replace my SDRs? There are SDRs who are reaching out to me, Rahul, you have been talking about AI. Is it going to take our jobs? The short answer is no. The long answer is it's going to make you better. And as I rightly said, however, you have to also understand, if you keep relying on the old methodologies, old tactics, where you are maybe trained, or where you are accustomed, or where your company is forcing you to send, let's say, the same template to thousands and thousands of people. And I'm not even talking about, I'm assuming that you already have, let's say, domains already fixed up. But if you're sending the same email to everybody, that time is gone. And the simple reason is, because email is the cheapest form of communication, and I'm only talking about email right now. Email is the cheapest form of communication. I believe it takes like 0.000 some cents to send one email, because Google does not charge you even if you send 500 email or 1,000, doesn't matter. When it comes to calls and other things, you obviously have a trade-off. Now, in this case, you cannot do that, because with the AI, everybody has access to AI, everybody has access to ChatGPT. That means everybody is going to do that. Everybody is going to send more emails in the hope that it is going to hit somewhere and get us results, which is not going to happen, because everybody is bombarded. That means as a buyer, you are now attuned to even avoid as many emails, as many communication, whether it's LinkedIn or whether it's email. That is bound to happen as a buyer. And think about this, okay? I'll give you a scenario. The moment I get a call today, or the moment I see an email today which says, I hope you're doing well, I know immediately, without even opening the email, it's cold email. The moment somebody calls me from a credit card company and I hear, good morning, sir, or good afternoon, I know that no friend of mine or no acquaintance of mine is going to wish me like that. So we are all attuned as buyers to avoid all of this. And salespeople anyways get like a bad rap because of all the reasons. So you go to a mall, somebody say, excuse me, can I talk to you for a minute? You are automatically attuned to avoid that at all costs. The second point I want to mention is, it is never going to be a solution to any of the hard work. So understand, whatever we're going to show you today required a lot of hard work to reach that stage, whether it is thinking about the process. And there is a possibility that 3, 4, 5 years down the line, we would probably reach a stage where we would not even have to think. But for today, I can assure you that you have to still do the hard work, but it is going to make you so productive that you will start loving the hard work as well. Maruti, do you want to cover the rest?
Yeah, like just an extension. Yeah, at some point in a decade's time, we all want to sit on the beach and the AI do the hard work, but today we are not there, right? So the other two things where I feel that AI could add a lot of value is, like now if you just use it out of the box, all of our emails would look the same. Now, I do a lot of research, especially when I'm selling to these enterprise clients, like 2,000 employees companies, right? I need to do a lot of research. I need to strike a chord. At the end of the day, it's people buy from people. So far, I've been doing a ton of manual research, Google, their earnings reports, LinkedIn, etc. Now, I'm using now AI to reduce this manual research and saving a lot of time, right? So that's another key aspect on how AI could be beneficial. And the second thing is, because of this, like, it's just like the number of saved hours for me to, be better at a certain process so that I can always be available to the customers. Yeah. So in this sense, like, it's still not taking a job, and it could still be like make you 10x, 100x more productive. And that's what is going to be the future.
Awesome. And if you all stay till the end, we definitely promise that we have a surprise for you, which is worth $5,000. So just stay till the end and for the surprise. Okay. All right. Without further ado, let's quickly get started. Now, what I'm going to show you is the current state, which is how most outbound teams work. The structure might differ a bit based on the kind of stage of company and the kind of and if you have been working if you're used to, let's say, working in a certain tool set. However, if you see, more or less the process remains the same, where you first define the prospecting, where you define the first ICP, I'm sorry. And typically, I haven't found a way where I could automate this or use AI to do it, because let's say if I'm developing a product today, I have to know whom I'm developing it for. So AI cannot do that for me unless AI or Elon Musk puts a chip in my head and able to think or probably able to extract my thoughts and make something out of it. Until that doesn't happen, I have to do this manually. When we talk about the account list building, I think each company would have their own process. Some start the research, or some start the search process from LinkedIn or ZoomInfo or Apollo and any other database. And as you see, and this is the process that I'm trying to show you, given I have 500 accounts and assuming that each account has at least 2 to 3 prospects, that means we're talking about 1,500 leads. Now, once I have the accounts, let's assume that there is a filters which I have used, which is, let's say, company size, revenue, their sales team size, or whatever. Based on that, let's say if I extract a list of 500 to 700 accounts in the hope that I will be able to prioritize and at least reach that 500 number, then I will prioritize this. Based on my entire 5-6 years of career, and after speaking to multiple other leaders, the way they prioritize account today is it's simply a manual process where you will see either based on the funding. If somebody has recently received the funding, they get a higher weightage over others. Or in the past, in fact, I worked with a company where we had a weightage for everything. So if somebody has a funding, let's say more than $10 million, they get 2 points or something. And eventually they have a weighted average, which we will be able to take. And out of 500 accounts, then we would know this is my P0, P1, P2, and so on. Now, after that process is done, and let's assume that I want to extract the people information for everybody, I would again go back to Apollo, or assuming if I'm already at Apollo, assuming that I was able to extract all the information right within, I will then put in the filters of CFO, CEO, whosoever you want to reach out. And that process used to take about 30 minutes. And then where typically process involves where we extract all the information, because we don't want to rely on the email verification process of all these databases. So what we do is we extract the information, we put that into a different database, zero bounds or whatever you're using. And then once that information is validated, you download that again, and then we upload that to either your sequencing tool or CRM or whatever you're using right now. And then that comes the bigger part where you have to research each account, where you have to research each lead. And that takes about 150 hours. And this is keeping in mind that you're spending 5 to 10 minutes either on an account or a lead. And I'm talking about 1,500 to 2,000 leads. Typically in the past, and typically that's what the process involves, where most companies would have an intern to do it, or SDR would have to do it as and when required, when they're actually about to write an email for the first time. And then, of course, when you have to send messages, you can imagine that you'll be writing or at least customizing some piece of it to make it relevant or personalized. And that takes about 60 to 120 minutes, assuming, even if you are putting everything automated, assuming that you have done some sort of segmentation, it will still take this time. More if you are actually manually sending each and every email. And then, of course, based on the response, after you have run some campaigns, you've done enough A/B testing, you want to further improve the process. That process is still manual, unfortunately, and there is no way around how you can use AI to make it better.
Rahul,
now,
so
if you see, sure, go ahead.
Just to give a quick perspective, I was just counting the time, right, which you, every one of us used to spend. It's 13.5 hours. And let's say if our work week is like 40 hours a week, and then we all know the sales people are workhorses, let's say 60 hours or 50 hours a week. That means 13.5 which is close to like 20-25% of your time you're just investing in all of this manual work, right? Which is now
I
if I
think the
think
number of hours are even more. And so understand there are a few variables at play. Assuming that you have a dedicated intern whose job would be, and there's a dedicated team whose job is to give you just accounts where you have to just research. And when I say research, assuming you have to research at least on LinkedIn to find out if they have posted something, what does their profile say, what does their KRA says and whatnot. That time is, of course, will vary from company to company depending on the kind of clientele you have, how much you're optimizing. But yes, 13.5 hours is probably the least we're talking about here. Now, so this is the problem, okay? So far, this is the problem. What we are going to jump onto now is a solution. So what if we are able to cut down on these tools? And if you see, this is what a lot of companies like Zuri is talking about. Hey, you have so many tools and you don't even know which one you're going to renew, which one you're actually going to use. So tools like this are actually super important. And what we're trying to do is rely on as less tools as possible, because one, as a early stage company, it becomes even easier for us to actually have less tools. And this is what I'm going to show you. And the kind of time saved is insane. So if you look at this, and we were talking about 150 hours, I am saying that you will be able to save up to 100 hours on this. If you have an intern, don't let them go. Okay, they can still do a better job if you're able to teach them the system, which we are about to show you. So if you see, in terms of the prioritizing account, there are tools like KeyPlay, where you can simply enter your ideal prospect, which you have already closed. And it will, based on the weightage, which is automatically decided, or you can decide it yourself. You can even prioritize the top accounts. I've been playing with the free tool, I think, and the 25 accounts, which I get in the trial. I think it's insane. I don't think so I would ever be able to become so great at Excel where I'm able to decide those weightage. And then finding the right people, finding the accurate information, dumping between different tools. I think it's insane. And if you see, we are able to use only one, maximum two tools to automate the entire process and save time. And if you see, so far, we have not replaced the SDR. If you're an SDR, if you're a sales leader, you're not replacing SDR, you're just making the whole process better. So what we are going to do now is we're going to talk about three different plays, which we could use. However, we are only going to show you one, but similar thing could be used, similar process could be used for anything or in any way, the way you want to run it. And I'm happy to take questions at the end in terms of, in case you have any, as to how we can make the process better. So what we're going to do is we are going to take a persona and a situation which we have when we are reaching out to, let's say, companies who might be needing School of SDR services. So for us, when we see a company which is hiring for an SDR, is great. Similarly, for your company, it could be that somebody hiring for finance team, somebody hiring for developer, or I don't know, sales leaders or whatever, right? It totally depends. And you could also do the same thing if you have, if you want to reach out to companies which are similar to your current customers. You could be using this for companies, let's say, which are using a particular tech stack, which could be HubSpot. So let's say when we used to be at Slintel, we used to reach out to all the companies which are using ZoomInfo. It makes it a low-hanging fruit for us. And that is where, I think we were able to automate the hell out of everything and still get decent results. Not decent, I would say great results, because we knew they're using ZoomInfo. All we had to do is just tap onto what really, and I think I saw Dave Zaka here, so he can probably validate, and this used to be practiced for a long time. All right, so what I'm going to show you now is how I'm starting the search here. And so the tool which we are going to use is Clay. The beauty of the Clay is, and this is something which was not even possible, first of all, with tools like Apollo and ZoomInfo. So for example, I want to target all the companies which are hiring for SDRs. And typically what we used to do is we used to manually pull out this information, note it down somewhere, or, keep shifting between two tabs. So let's say, for example, if Pepper Content is hiring, if TripleDart is hiring, I would have to manually type that in because there was no way for Apollo and tools like this to extract that information. However, in fact, if I were to quickly show you, give me a second. So I'm going to go to jobs. Apparently, it doesn't show me the jobs. So if you see, there was no way for me to extract this information before the tool, and these could be all low-hanging fruits for me. I can, of course, filter it down based on industry and the date posted and whatnot. But now if you are able to see my extension.
Yeah, you can see that, the clay.
Awesome. So if you see, these are 25 jobs, and if you see, it was working in real time. I can actually go to the next page and show you how it is scrolling and how it is changing. So if you see from 25, now we are looking at 50. So 50 jobs scraped in less than 5 seconds. And these are going to be all of my ideal companies. That means I can run a campaign which might say, hey, I see you're hiring for SDRs and I could help. What does your training process look like and whatnot? And that's exactly what I'm going to show you in a minute. And then I can either save this to, I can even export this, or I can save it to Workspace so that I can start working on this within the clay. And what I'm going to show you now is exactly the process. I'm so sorry. Now, while that was one way, what I could also do is, instead of relying on LinkedIn to operate on this, I can use Clay as a database as well. I will keep switching between slides and the actual so that I can show you the demo and show you that, oh, it's not something which we made up or it doesn't work. So if you see, now I'm able to search for jobs within the platform, saying SDR, BDR, that's how most of the jobs are, SDR, BDR, SaaS, looking for companies who are located in India, right? And if you see, I have 50 jobs from 77 results, and I can import these jobs to a table, which works just like Excel sheet, and I'll show you how do we work on this. And this is how I was trying to show you how I was able to, filter the companies based on industries and then further filter it. I was able to scrape 172 jobs in 60 seconds, which is, I don't think so. My time would probably take an entire day. I would probably take more than 2 days, given that I can only spend a few hours researching. One thing I would want to show you is, and this is something which I'm going to show you in a demo as well. If you see, some of these jobs said Delhi, Delhi, Bangalore, Bangalore. I was able to clean the list as well, if you see, in a very simple format, because I'm going to use this information in my emails, which is, I see you're hiring in Delhi, I see you're hiring a media position in Bangalore, and so on. If you see, all these lists are clean now, thanks to the tools and the plays which are built within, and I'll show you how we can do that. And then I'm also able to extract all the description, which was, again, a manual process for me, where I would have to copy the entire thing and then paste it. And it took me seconds to extract this information. And this is actually a live demo, and I'm happy to show you on this tool as well. But if you want to see this for yourself, how I'm actually extracting the description and the job location right now. So there was a lot of hit and try, as you can see. So we spent a few hours because we were playing around with the tool for the first time. But once you get the hang of it, you'll be like, wow, why did I not have this earlier? So I'm simply entering the company domain. I'm actually telling the tool that, hey, this is the company domain, look for the job title. And what I would want to see is, so look for the company, look for the top title and the location. And you see the description is already there. All I'm doing is selecting it. And as soon as I do it, it is able to extract all the description. And within a click of button, I will be able to put this on the next column. It's all automatic, as you can see. Moving on to the next part. So this part is done. Now, what I'm trying to do is, because I have this information, and eventually right now I have 50 jobs, tomorrow I could have 500, and I want to reach out to all the companies in the least amount of time. So what I'm trying to now find out is, why are these companies hiring for these positions? Is there a need to grow, or is this going to be the first SDR? So whatever that is, why are they hiring? What are the jobs and responsibilities going to be? Now, simply by using ChatGPT, which is built within, what I'm trying to do is asking and instructing that, using the description, tell me what the company is trying to solve for. Keep the output under 15 words. It's simply a prompt. There's nothing special about this. What I'm trying to do is keep the responses very crisp. And then I'm saying, this is my prefix, where I want each email to start with, I notice an open role for the SDR position in Bangalore. And then I'm actually further instructing. It looks like that what you're trying to do is this. And I don't want to read the entire description because I want to automate the entire process. So I'm not reading the entire description. And I feel then there could be a bias. I could actually have a problem understanding the whole thing. And this is actually the prompt as well. So we will, once Mahesh and their team sends you the slide, you can actually copy the whole thing, actually do it yourself. I'm happy to also send the entire clay table, which you can experiment with after copying it. And you'll also get the recording, I believe, for the whole video, so you can go and watch it again. So if you see, this is what I'm trying to do. What I'm trying to achieve is this. I notice an open role for SDR position in city. It looks like you want to bring them to help, and then the prefix, which is where ChatGPT will do the magic. And I'll show you how in a click of a button, I was able to do this for, let's say, 10 or 15 rows. And you can do this for as many rows as you want. My results were not perfect, so there was some training required because I was doing this for the first time. But once this table is set, I can do this for 100, 500 rows, doesn't matter. So there was a little bit of training required where I was actually just feeding that, hey, it looks like you did not give me the correct result. And this is just like the way ChatGPT works, right? You don't get the result in the first go, so you have to train a little bit. Hey, can you make it shorter? Can you write for clarity? So my go-to ChatGPT prompt is, can you write for clarity, brevity, impact, make it in less than 100 words or 150 words? And I think that gives me great results. So now if you see, all the results are in and I'm also going to show you the actual table. So just hold on and bear with me. So if you see, this is how the result would look like. This is how my first preview line would look like. I noticed an open role for the SDR position in Chennai. Looks like you want to bring them to help in generating leads and increasing sales for your SaaS product. And these are the keywords which are taken exactly from the description. I'm not trying to change or make it in my own language. Now, once somebody on the other end received it, they would be like, okay, they have research, I'm hiring, great. They also research that I'm hiring for a role in Chennai. Because understand, based on the location as well, I will be able to make perhaps, change my statement. Because, for example, I'll talk about Chennai. So, for example, I know a few companies who come to me, can you help us with SDRs in Chennai? I'm like, hey, I can help you, but I don't think so I can get you a lot of candidates because most of my candidates would not want to move to Chennai, or they would want a remote job. Is this job remote? And they would say no. Then, for example, if I want to reach out to them now, I can actually tweak the entire statement. If the SDR role is open in Chennai, say this versus say that, right? I can also train that. Now, for next step is once we know the company, we know the companies who are hiring, we are simply trying to find the people within the same platform, just like the way you would do this for, let's say, your Apollo or ZoomInfo. I would let this play for a second. Of course, I'm going to target head of sales, VP sales, sales development leaders, founders, co-founders, and I think it's a usual drill which we have with most of the Apollo and ZoomInfos. I think we should have music at the background when this is playing. We'll keep it in mind next time.
Yeah, this is but mind-blowing. Like so far, I personally using this tool until this step would have like saved 5-6 hours already, right? Like doing all of this, writing customization, or even my own, let's say, an SDR with whom I'm tagging along to help me with this kind of research. Just like combined amount of time is like close to anywhere from 5 to 10 hours that we've already saved.
I'm glad you feel it that way. And I know that you have not even seen this a lot. I think we only talked about this. So I'm glad it's coming. Feedback is coming from you that way. And the best part is, which I'm not using right now, which I can do, which is, let's say, a lot of times I can even instruct the GPT to even scroll the website. Sorry, what do you call that? Crawl the website and scrape the website and say that, hey, can you find out how does their pricing work? Do they have pricing on the website? Because what I might want to find out is, and let's say categorize tomorrow is, hey, are you a freemium product? Okay, or do you offer a free trial? If there is a free demo, is there a free demo or is there a book a demo page on the website or not? So I can do multiple things. I can also make it go through case studies. I can make it go through first page of the website and talk about what is the website going to be about. So for example, if I have a list of 100 companies where instead of going after each company, what do they do? I could simply scrape and, instruct GPT to give me a 10-word or 10, let's say one sentence, just talk about what the company does.
Yep.
The second step is, which is similar, which again we do within the platform. So I'm not going to show that. However, what I'm going to show is how we are validating within. So one of the challenge which I just found out after talking to a company today, and then this is a common challenge, which is, hey, what happens is we have a list of 1,500 or let's say 2,000 leads. And when we go to a validation tool like a zero bounds, we are left with 1,500. What do we do with the 500? So typically what happens is, and this is what most companies do, they would either have an intern or let's say an SDR whose job would be, or let's say RevOps or whoever does it. So their job would be to now consult a different tool. Maybe go to Lucia, or maybe if you're using ZoomInfo, you will go to Zoom, other tools to find out. And that means your cost of increasing and cost of managing these tools is also increasing. That means you have to remember credentials. Sometimes companies are fighting over who has the credentials. So it becomes a massacre, as you can imagine. Now, sometimes, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, almost one of the trends that I've seen recently with this explosion of data tools, Rahul, is that every company is using no less than 3 data providers. That's a common theme.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It's up to 10 data providers.
I would not be surprised. And they're not wrong, because, there's not one data provider who can, there was a time, when some data tools had a monopoly. They would be like, hey, we are the only one. And then these companies, started monopolizing or cannibalizing one region. So for example, I see there are tools which are only, which say, oh, we'll get you the best Europe data. We'll get you the best APAC data in US. And we'll get you the best phone numbers. We'll get you the best data for medical supplies or whatever. So that's how, more and more companies started emerging. And what happened as a result is no company. Now, today, if I'm a SaaS company, want to target a SaaS company, I don't know which is the best tool. Of course, I can consult other SaaS founders, other SaaS companies. But truth is, there could be a possibility that my tool could be used by companies other than SaaS. That means I cannot rely on one tool then. So besides the whole management, I think the bigger problem is even if you have 4 tools, sometimes you will not even get the data. So what companies do is, and what we used to do is, my intern would start using the permutation and combination. We would use Excel sheet, Google Sheets, try to convert that into chip, try different combination to see if that works. I know some of the people who are trying to validate my email address, they keep sending me these BCC email address just to see if that bounces. I think that's one of the oldest tricks. Companies even do that today. So if you see, because you really cannot ignore the fact that you have to reach out to, let's say, founders. And in the company, what you were able to find out is, let's say, a sales leader, but your true ICP, true buyer persona is co-founder. What if you don't get their email addresses, right? It becomes simply a pain. So what Clay is able to do is, it's able to, as you can see, work on a waterfall where it says we will search for one tool, and if we don't find it, we're going to go to the second and third and so on. That way is you only get charged when they find the information, and in the end, they have, if you see validation built within, you can also use your own API if you have zero bounds, let's say, so that you don't end up spending credits with them. But I think this is beautiful if you look at this. What I'm trying to do is validate these using D bounds. And now within a few seconds, I'm not sure if this is the video here, or I'm going to fast forward this maybe.
No, but we can see the waterfall and then the whole validation that's happening.
Yeah, I'm going to show this in the real time as well by going to Clay in a minute. But before that, I want to show. Now, what I also want to do is, and this is the most beautiful part of the tool which I found, which is if I'm reaching out to, let's say, Mahesh works with TripleDart, and Shyam also works with TripleDart. What I don't know who's actually the right person to take a call on this. So let's say Mahesh is a sales leader, Shyam is a sales leader, another sales leader, or maybe founder. So Shyam is actually a founder. So what I don't know is who is responsible to manage the SDR training in that company. So typically what I would do is I would go to one of my email would say, hey, Mahesh, if you're not the right person, can you tell me if I can reach out to somebody else? That's typically the oldest form of the most laziest form of asking, who should I reach out to? So putting the onus on the prospect, saying that, hey, can you tell me who should I reach out to? And what people started doing later is they're like, okay, Mahesh, I see Shyam is the co-founder. Should I be reaching out to him? And in order to do that, there was a cumbersome process, manual process. So what I'm trying to do is now finding that at scale. What I'm trying to do is if I'm reaching out to 5 people in TripleDart, I would want to find each other's name, and I want to do that automatically without finding that information. This is like, I'm so sorry. And by the way, this is one slide I actually just added so that I could show you that you can also extract the recent post if they have. That way you don't have to read the entire post and simply, but I did not use it. The reason I did not use it here is because of all the people who I was reaching out to. Their last post were 3 or 4 months old. So I thought it would not make sense. Anyways, so the goal was, like I said, if they're not the right POC, I want to ask Mahesh, if Shyam is the right person, I want to ask Shyam if Mahesh is the right person. But I want to do that automatically. I don't want to waste my time in finding who's the right person. So process might not look simple. However, I can tell you it is. It just works like a database tool. So what I'm trying to find out is find contacts at the company. And these are all, as you can see, all built within. So you will simply type in the search box and play, find contacts at company. And what I'm trying to instruct is find people from TripleDart. These are the titles I would want you to find, which are the same title which we added earlier. And then I'm also asking that, hey, Mahesh should not get an email saying that should I be reaching out to Mahesh. So I'm excluding Mahesh here by simply typing in Mahesh. All right. And all I need is first name and last name. I don't think so I even need the last name. But I was thinking when I was making this play is it'll be cool if I say, Mahesh, would Shyam Sundar be the right person? I don't know. I was just thinking out loud, but I did not act on it. But I thought it'll be helpful to anyways get that information. Now, if you see here, the company is Zluri here. So Zluri, in front of Zluri, I have Rafael. I also have Ankur. So as you can see, Rafael's name is coming twice or thrice. And I'll show you this in a bit. Before we write the sequence, now let me take you to Clay to show you how this works in real time, because this feels like, oh my God, you're just fabricating all this.
Yeah, let's do the whole thing in action now.
Yes. Did I stop sharing my screen? My bad. All right. So this is what I was talking about. It's all real. It's not a dream. So you can see all these jobs are imported. This is the description. You can see it's right here. And the formula is very simple. There is a find active job. I can also show you how the formula works, which I was talking about earlier. Company's domain, job title, location. And as soon as I do it, all I have to do is just extract the description out of it. If you see here, it says Noida, Uttar Pradesh, India, city, state. All I want is the city so that I can sound smart when I'm reaching out. So if you see, I was able to extract just the city. So I've taken the very small sample to do it because I'm on a trial and I'm practicing. So I didn't want to waste a lot of my credits. And if you see, this is how I was able to see. And I'll give you a different example. I noticed an open role for SDR in New Delhi. Looks like you want to bring them to boost sales through cold calling efforts in US colleges. So if you see, this is specific. This is specific. This is actually telling everybody, hey, I'm not like sending this to 500 people because I can't, because not everybody is trying to sell to US colleges. I'll show you a different one, which is, I noticed a media role in Mumbai. Looks like you want to bring them to global lead generation, expand B2B product sales. And this is all taken from their description, not something I'm writing on the fly.
And when you say description, I'm assuming it's from the job description, right?
It's from the job description. Yeah, this is the job description, remember? And what I did after this is I applied a formula on this, which is simply using GPT saying that, hey, this is the job description. And I'll show you how I actually did it as well. So I said, using the description column here, tell me what this company is trying to solve, keep the output under 15 words, use keywords from the input, complete the output with my prefix. This is my prefix. I notice an open role in the city. Result is city, the city extraction. It looks like you want to bring them to help. And after that, ChatGPT is simply extracting the best possible information out of this. Now, go ahead.
I want to add a small comment here. Like,
sure,
this is magical, right? Like, I used to, like, when I was prospecting, I used to go to the job descriptions during my time at Cloudel, looking at who is hiring security engineers, and then read their job descriptions and just reading and finding the job descriptions and then saying that, okay, what exactly do I need to tell them in the email in itself used to consume a lot of my brain power. Forget about time, just the brain power, right? And then I never had the energy for the next set of creative tasks because my brain power is already consumed here. Now imagine like this tool is just taking all of that and freeing up my brain power. It's like freeing up your computer RAM so that it can process more tasks faster.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think after this is done, all my job would be is to set up the campaign and, just fire it. I don't think so we need to validate it because it's all validated. Everything is all done. So once we have the contact information, I'm going to continue this on a different table. And I want to show you what I showed you in the demo as well. So if you see, it is finding different email addresses, and then it's actually able to give me all the validated ones. So the ones which are not there, according to Clay and I did research, they're like, you'll have a hard time finding it. They're not saying it's impossible. It's just impossible for most of the tools to find it. That means I'll have to do some combinations. I'll have to probably look at how others do the email addresses are, and then, just try to take a wild guess and do it. Which is where, AI is obviously not 100% perfect, but if you see, this actually does a great job so far. That means if I have a list of 2,000, I can maybe get a list of 1,500, but still reducing a ton of my time. Now, this is what I was talking about. So in Divyanshu, when I'm reaching out to Divyanshu, I'm saying, hey, Divyanshu, should I be speaking to Sneha? Sneha, should I be speaking to Divyanshu? So all you see, these are all the information which is readily available, and simply by finding contacts at a company, which I showed you. Now, let's go to the next step. And now what we're trying to create is, I'm trying to simply create a 2-step sequence for now, but the magic and the formula and the process remain the same. So what I'm trying to do is, now I'm trying to create an email based on the information which I found earlier. So here, which I did is actually did a VLOOKUP, similar to the way you do the Excel sheet, because this data was available in the company information, and I could pull this back in the contact information. Now what I'm trying to also do is find the role count, and I'll tell you the magic why I'm trying to find the role count, which is again readily available in most of the database, but I'll tell you what I'm trying to do with this. Now I'm simply instructing GPT to say, hey, write me an email. These are my prompts, and my prompts are simply based on what has worked for me after playing around for hours on ChatGPT, but I'm pretty sure you would have a certain way how you write emails. You can simply feed 10 great emails and simply say, hey, write an email like this. And I'll show you some of the emails. I'm not saying these are like, amazing emails. However, these are good emails. I recently noticed Zuri is hunting for quality SDRs in Bangalore. Notice your focus on outbound prospecting and lead generation for your SaaS Ops platform. This so far shows me I've done some research. Yep. Wondering about the training. You may have untrained salespeople, frequent missed targets. You may know, untrained. And this is where my prompt is. In fact, 60% of the SDRs feel understaffed, missing training, vital to success. Our training at School of SDR has helped so-and-so companies, which is typically to the way we write emails in SaaS. Mind if I share the success story? Now, what you want to see is, I am including like a free magnet. So earlier, I used to charge companies for posting on my feed. I used to charge them $25,000. And I'm like, hey, you're hiring. You probably have a hard time hiring. And all you have to do is reply to me, and I will post a free job on my feed promoting this to 18,000 LinkedIn followers for free. And I'm not doing it for everybody. And in the past as well, I've not done it for everybody, only the companies which fit the criteria. So this time, obviously, the criteria is set by me. So I know these companies are valid and will pay a certain amount and whatnot. So this actually increases my chance to get in front of them at the same time. For them to not say no is like almost next to impossible. I want to show you another email, which could be for maybe a different company like CleverTap, for example. Notice CleverTap is hiring SDR, exciting times. Often SDRs lack training. We've got covered. This is the name dropping. Again, a reply gets your job posted to my 18,000 followers. So now if you see, even based on the instruction given to ChatGPT, this is changing every time. The whole email is changing every time. There's none of the emails are same. I can now play around based on my creativity, whether I want the subject line to remain the same or I would want ChatGPT to generate the email. But now let's talk about the second email. I know it says email 4, ignore that. All right, so what I want to show you is this. Sunny Raj, the first name. I see that there are about, this does not have employees, so I'm going to take another one. Kunal, I know there are about 57 employees over at SignEasy, and perhaps SDR training is not your responsibility. Should I reach out to Ravi instead, given their role? So if you see now, I was able to find Kunal is SVP, but there's another guy called Ravi, who's apparently another persona in my buyer list. But if you see now, this is something which again could go to Kunal, giving him an impression, dude, this person has done so much research, right? So if you see, I don't know, I mean, I know I probably took some time, probably 20 or 30 minutes to show you all this, but in order to act all this, because this all works in a linear fashion, it's not that, it's going to take time to produce 5,000 results longer. I think it's a great job. If you see, and as we talked about earlier, we would spend hours and hours of time sending these customized emails. First of all, customized email take time. And if we were to talk about even the second scenario where most companies send automated emails, those are really bad because those looks like marketing email. Those are like long sentences, feels like a nurture email, feels like, I am one of the 1,000. It's not speaking to me. All these emails, if you saw, even written at scale, still speak to me, still shows me that I care. And I know this has been a debate which has been going around. Hey, if I don't write 40 personalized email, people will not feel I care. I still care. I just don't have to care about how am I sending them. I still have utmost care for all the companies we work with, but it does not mean that I cannot leverage technology to reach out to more and more companies in the most efficient way. I'm going to shut up and let's take some questions, or Maruti, if you have anything.
No, this is fantastic, right? Like now, right away by using Clay, I know, we explained everything in 30 minutes and we figured out, or we spent like probably a last 1 year tinkering with all these tools, and we went very deep into each of these tools to figure out a recipe right now, which I think the bigger question for everyone would be, how much time would it take to configure all of this? Now it could be like as simple as 30 minutes because we figured out the recipe. And then every time we want to start a new campaign, it just saves 20 hours per campaign, or 20% of my time. And then we are able to accomplish much better results. So using our own human judgment and our own creativity.
Totally, yeah. I think it's a no-brainer to not use it at this stage. And given that, now we have embraced it, I'm pretty sure there would be other companies, there will be other people who would start embracing it. So yeah. I think it's simply a matter of time, and we should start using this. Now, coming back to, can we take questions? Do we have time to take questions?
One other note, like another interesting company that I also recently came across when we were exploring these tools, right? Like Clay is Happy Sales. They were the name suggests happy sales, right? Like their AI tool is also like really, they're building some cutting edge stuff. The founders are very exciting. They've been in the space and they want to help the SDRs become those 10x SDRs as well. So for everyone in the audience, like if you're exploring these different sets of tools, definitely Clay is one, Happy Sales is one. There are plethora of tools, but these are some tools that we have tried and we explored.
I think I remember we discussing that. I think it's a great tool. I think they recently launched something, so I would recommend if you want to check them out. I think they did a good spin-off on Dwight, so that got my attention. I want to show quickly one quick tool, which has been my favorite, and I think I talked about that earlier, which is Quick Play. I know some of you have also talked about in the past about Ocean. I think something similar tool, but I think I like this tool over Ocean, and I'll quickly tell you why. So let's say I have, and I'm pretty sure no matter what company you're working with, you already have customer. What you want to find out is how can we find more customer like this? And what typically happens is companies either go to G2 and try to find a lookalike, or try to Google or do some of those stuff. What I felt that used to be a lot of, there used to be a lot of error in that process, because sometimes what happens in G2, let's say if you are a HRMS platform and you're listed as HRMS and payroll, so that will probably give you wrong results. However, when I look at this tool, I think it's a kind of I don't usually say game changer, but I really would want to say this is a game changer. So if you see, these are all the companies whom I work with, right? And what I am trying to do is find a lookalike. And what I'm also trying to do is talk about the weightage. I talked about weightage point earlier, where I used to rack my brains on, hey, what should I give more weightage on? And even if I was able to, then I had to look up formulas, whatnot. I know GPT made formulas easy, but still it was a pain. What I'm trying to say is, hey, my weightage is that I want very positive signals for me are companies have to have SDR, have to have AEs, they must be hiring SDR, they must be growing at a 20% stage. And then there are, of course, some positive signals which are pre-fed. But if you see, you can also use tech stack, whatnot, like you want to go after a certain employee size. And then the best part is I can adjust that category here, which was a pain earlier. So I don't have to worry about how should I, adjust the whole weightage. So I can say, hey, if they have an SDR hiring for SDR, I want to give them more weightage versus if they got a funding. I don't care about the funding. So do try it. I think it's a fantastic tool.
Rahul, I know we are closer to the hour. We have one question from Jayanand. He says, can we enable spin tags into the email bodies?
Yeah. Yes, I think I've already answered that. Yes, it's simply a matter of you prompting it. I think you can do it.
I mean, really insightful. Yeah, what started off as a skeptic, I've never seen any hands-on demonstration of AI tools. Of course, I've used ChatGPT. I've used a bunch of content writing tools, but nothing as close as what you just demonstrated. This blew me off. I mean, we as at TripleDart, we generally, I mean, we are also we also run our outbound motion. So I think this is the perfect playbook we were actually looking for. I'm pretty sure that most of the companies who are attending this, most of the people who are attending this will find immense value. We have about 5 minutes. Like say if anyone of you have questions, just raise your hands and we can just unmute you and you can ask your questions directly to Rahul and Maruti.
I want to cover just one last slide where I talked about the surprise. I'm going to talk about that. Give me 1 second. I can share my screen.
Yeah, but keep the questions coming.
Yes, please keep the question coming. Are you able to see my surprise screen? Okay, awesome. So what we are offering is 1 hour free consultation to 5 companies, whosoever wants to book time with us. It is simply on a first come, first serve basis. The only clause is that you either have to be a sales leader. If you're an SDR, just bring your founder or sales leader on the call and we'll be happy to talk to them for 1 hour about anything around outbound. If there's anything else, yeah, we don't mind. But yes, preferably outbound or anything about AI, how do you embrace it? Any consultation of any kind is super welcome, and there's absolutely no charge. I would trust that and in fact, what we can do is I can put this link in the chat box. So whosoever wants to take this first, you're more than welcome to do it. Boom, all done.
All right. Well, either the audience are stumped,
or we were like super awesome. They're like, wow, how can this happen?
Yeah. But yeah, we feel free to connect with us on LinkedIn. Happy to take any questions. But we are living in the most exciting time, at least, in my last decade of my sales career. Probably one tool that really changed my life has been Gong. But then after that, this whole new LLMs as a concept is now revolutionizing a lot of things, and I'm very, very much looking forward to, because there are a lot of things that I love sales, but I hate doing some things like updating my CRM, keeping on scrolling different pages and it like 30 tabs open, which disturbs me from my focus area, and not allow me to spend time with customers. Like I love spending time with customers, and AI can really solve that problem. I'm 100% believer of that.
Absolutely. I think a lot of the tools coming in this sector, particularly, in this area particularly, have been, solving a lot of problems that we used to get done by using ton of other tools, ton of tools. So there's been honestly a boon, but then the practical demonstration actually, kind of sealed the fact that, yeah, this is going to be of immense value to any sphere that you're in, be it sales, be it marketing, be it customer success, and a bunch of other things. Cool. Again, thanks a lot again, Rahul, Maruti, for doing this for us. Again, for the audience, our inboxes are always open. feel free to reach out to us in case of any questions that you might have, or like we will definitely be sharing the recording, and we will also be sharing the presentation with you so that you can go and try this for yourself. And even at TripleDart, like say, we make sure that again, like you all know, TripleDart is a growth marketing agency. We do end-to-end marketing for SaaS startups, and the core of whatever we do is built on the technology that similar to what Rahul and Maruti were just demonstrating. So if you would like to talk to any of us at any point on related to marketing, our inboxes are open and you can reach out to us at any point. Once again, thank you, Rahul and Maruti, for doing this, and hope we have you some other time down the line for another exciting session on another topic. And I'm sure that AI would have evolved by then.
For sure.
Yeah.
You lost the bet, Mahesh. You said AI will not win, so you owe us a treat.
Yes. Hopefully, when we do it next, let's see where it takes us.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
A lot,
Thank you so
everyone.
much for having us.
Everyone.
Truly appreciate it. I think it was a fantastic session. A great audience. Please feel free to reach out to us if you're not connected on LinkedIn. I think I already saw some of the requests coming in. So yes, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. See you then.
See you. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.